He believes that I believe him. And he likes that I believe he lives in me. He likes that I believe he likes me. And he likes that I'm allowing that to teach me how to like myself in a healthy way, where it's not vanity. Where I actually love who I've become, because now I can fulfill the two greatest commandments. I can love him with everything I am because he's loved me with everything he is. And I can love my neighbor as myself because I see myself clear. How are you going to love your neighbor as yourself when you don't even like you deep in your heart? When you're still holding yourself accountable for 10 years ago, 3 years ago, a year ago. When you're still identifying with what went wrong when you were 4 and 5 and 6, when you went over to the babysitters, and all you see is the trauma, and you look in the mirror and all you see is the past years and the questions, why, God? How are you going to love your neighbor when that's you and your view of yourself? How are you going to love your neighbor as yourself if that's your view of yourself? Yeah. I got the best look at you I've ever had in my life. Because I see myself in him. I know he sees you the same way. He did this for all. And if he was busy loving me like that, he was loving you the whole time too. And you say, well, why was I touched wrong? I don't know why I was either. I don't even think about it. I think about being touched right. I think about delivered out of darkness. Delivered. Made whole. I think about new creation, not past things. I don't question why my dad was an alcoholic and why my mom died of sickness. It's not even on my mind. What's on my mind is Christ in me, the hope of glory. And we already won, and we're heading somewhere. So let's get in the race and run well and rejoice one day that we all believed and didn't grow weary in well-doing. Let's all rejoice and we didn't get sentimental and intellectual in the way of the analytical thing I talk about and just reason ourselves into a mess. And find a reason to not be like him, to find a reason to not be encouraged, to come up with a reason and find a couple friends that aren't encouraged, and then they become your support system and your soundboard. And all they can do is sympathize. They'll never help you if all they can do is sympathize. Bearing your heart to your hurting friends is not helping. Because all they do is accommodate you in your pain and understand it. And you call that sensitivity. I call it enablement. It's not that I'm not sorry that happened to you. But I can't be sentimental with you and say, I'm so sorry that happened to you. I can't believe they did that to you. That'll just make you cry harder. Because it happened. No, I'd be more in the line of, listen, I'm sorry people do what they do. Jesus said, forgive them, Father, they don't know what they do. If they had a revelation of him, they'd have never touched you. If they had a revelation of him, they'd have never said that to you. If they had a revelation of him, they'd have never done what they did. I think we should be crying for them right now. Don't cry for yourself. Yeah. Listen, we don't let what they did decide who you are when what he did is greater. And don't become a product of what you've been through when he went through something to identify you. I need you to make the shift with me right now. Look, I'm being a friend. You don't need me to cry with you. You need me to pull you out of this thing. You are not stereotyped. You are not a statistic. You are his. Now let's get up and live like it. Yeah? That's how I talk to you as your pastor if your spouse just left you. I talk to you 20 minutes after you found out your spouse left and you're a heaping mess sobbing. I would have that conversation with you. After I cried with you for 20 or 30 seconds, but you won't get more than that. If I cry 20, 30 seconds, you see I care, you have enough because I can't force tears. But I got to pull myself out of that because I can't just hold you and be sorry they did that. I got to look you right in the eyes and say, listen, this isn't too soon to tell you this. You are not the product of what one person did unless their name is Jesus. I'm sorry you made this terrible decision. Yes, there's things we're going to have to walk through. And I know we got to talk about the kids. I am sorry they chose this path. But don't you let what they did decide who you are. And don't you let what they don't see decide what you do see. Your life is more than what they did. You are no less anointed, you are no less called, and you have no less destiny. So now is the time we need faith. And now is the time we need to trust God. So every song we've ever sang together in church and every message you've ever heard, now it's the time to apply these things. Yes. You don't apply these things so they don't happen. You apply these things if they do happen. When they happen, it's more important to have faith. Right. That's how I pastor. I know you would pastor that way. Yeah? And you would know I care, and I'm not being hardcore. Because I would weep with you while I'm talking to you. Because I so wish they didn't choose that. Because it's real and it causes ramifications. But it doesn't have to mark you and stereotype your life, and 3 years later you're still not the same. 4 years later you're with somebody else, and it's not because you're complete, it's because you're in need. And you can't even do that justice because you're still scarred by this, and you're always looking over your shoulder. Now they're bearing the brunt of your bondage. It's amazing how people split and are with somebody significant immediately. I'd rather you be with him.
Yeah. Yes.
In such a way that you get so complete that if you are ever with somebody, it's out of the fullness of your life, not the vacuum.